Right then, welcome back, and today, oh yes, I've been looking forward to this one. Now, the 2008 R1 is a very beautiful bike, but the 2014 R1 is a bit of a grunt monster. Now, first bike to use the cross-plane crank engine. I like the way it looks, I like the way it rides. Big fan. So, where did we go? First up, we went to VIR North. And I kind of cheated a little bit. I basically ported the settings across from the 2008 bike, and it was okay. You can see it's a bit slidey. She's a little bit loose at the back, aren't we all, after a particularly spicy Indian? But yeah, it's a bit loose at the back, but I don't mind that. I don't mind it sliding about. I quite like backing it in and mucking about. One thing became clear very quickly. She's got some drive. Oh, look at that rear tyre. You get on the gas, yes, it slides, but it drives forward as well. We did a 122.5, which would have put us 20th straight out of the box. Top end speed is an issue. We'll come to that in a little while. But other than that, she was quite good. Now, I didn't make any changes. I left it be, and I thought, well, I've done the endurance race at Road Atlanta, so I'll go back to Road Atlanta and we'll see. We'll see where the bike ends up. And it was a little bit of bump and grind, a little bit of banging of fairings and so on and so forth. The bike drives so well out the corners that you just end up running into the AI riders all the time. It's a little bit weird, but she will slide about, but what I say by rear drive, just see her straight past. I think that was a KTM. I didn't really get a good look at it. But again, brakes, the front end was really good. She was still sliding about. I hadn't made any changes at the moment. I was just leaving it be. Just mugging GSXRs around the outside. Just the drive is fantastic, and that amount of rear drive is a constant theme in most places that we end up going. And I really, the bumps are always a pain in the arse, but I really enjoyed riding it. We did set a decent lap time. We set a 56.6, which would have put us 18th. Not quite as fast as the endurance bike. I can't alter the rake and trail, so it's not quite snappy, so it's going to be slower, but it wasn't far off. Excuse me. And I thought, right, I need to go somewhere where I can put a bit of load in, a bit of speed. So I went to Snetterton. We did a 200 medium fronts and rear, and I increased the rear spring just by one click, just the one click. Just to kind of try and stop it sliding about, to give it a little bit more support. What I thought was happening is the suspension was maybe compression a little bit, and it was just starting to wander onto the edge of the tyre. Did it help? Yes. We got a lot more support. She wasn't snapping sideways quite as much. Top speed, not great if you're not in a draft. If you're in a treble draft like we are right now, it's like having a nice little bottle of nitrous somewhere in a little cubby hole tucked away in the fairing, because it just went screaming past everybody, which I was quite surprised at. I thought I was going to get absolutely left down the straight. But again, we did a fairly good time. We did a 106.2, which would have put us 24th. Tyres are looking good, both green, medium. It's only a 3-lap race. And remember, the point of these setups is not to have the ultimate lap time, it's to give you a setup that you can use that can last the race. So I thought, right, well, we're getting there. Let's go to Alton. I did Alton Island, not Alton Fosters. I was going to do Alton International, but I'll save that for the really quick stuff. So I went to Alton Island. We're on medium front, medium rear again. And she was a little bit slidey. She was also a little bit wheelie prone as well. That rear drive, anti-wheelie was turned down to 1. It was like, whoop, there you go. Yeah, she was climbing a little bit. I don't mind it. It's quite difficult to control. Sometimes it comes up really quick. Hello, AI rider, dive bombing inside. It does come up a little bit quick, but as long as you got the weight on the left stick forward, you should be all right. Again, we didn't have enough pace in the bike to get to the front. Some of the AI riders are ridiculously fast, but we did do a 118.2, which would have put us 10th on the leaderboards. What I'm going to start doing as well is I'm going to start firing a time attack into the leaderboards on each bike, because if I haven't set a time, I can set a time and it'll be there, etc. But yeah, sliding about. I wasn't quite sure what to do because it was sliding about. I didn't know if it was a symptom of the track, the the grip coefficient that they put in the game or whatever. So I thought, well, I'll go somewhere where I know there's long corners and they got my speed. We'll go to Oooh Go Fast. I can put loads of energy through the bike. It's got long straights, big braking zones, big, long, nasty corners like this, where you can keep the bike on the side of the tyre, and I can feel the transition from a closed to a neutral to an open throttle. I can kind of see what the bike's doing. And apart from a lack of power, wasn't, I mean, I know I've just gone absolutely stonking, but that's a first generation R1 there, it should go absolutely creaming past that. Apart from a bit of a lack of power, which showed up in the leaderboard placing at the end, it was actually quite good. The tyres were really nice, they were generating decent heat. I could drop down to a soft and overload it, but again, I'm after that consistency, that consistent lap time. We did a 124.6, which would have put us 86th. Yeah, more power captain, please. It just felt heavy. The crank felt heavy, like it is on a crossplane crank. It didn't really want to rev. It just felt like it was stuck. Maybe the oil was a bit too thick. So then we went to Kanto, and oh my good lord, the first run was absolute carnage. Now, the 08 R1 was good, and on the 08 R1 video I said the 08's good, but the 2014's better. And oh my god, is it better. It doesn't have the grunt of the Panigale V4, so it cannot flick itself sideways on demand, but what it can do is it can get sideways. You have to think about it a little bit. It can get sideways and it will hold it. It has enough power, despite the high level of rear grip. It has enough power to ride through the back of a Ducati and flick him off, but at the same time it's got enough balance in it, whereas the 08 one didn't have enough power and the balance was a bit weird. It's got enough balance in it to keep the slide going. You'll see towards the end of the race, I decided to slide it rather than go around the outside for the win. Possibly I might not have made it around the outside, but look at the front end on this. Absolutely fantastic, and this is on wets as well. So yeah, the chassis is fantastic. I will give it a boogie rating at the end, don't worry about that. And it was just a very, very, very nice machine to ride. I mean, through here, just get on the gas. Oh, she's just beautiful, but you can see that little snap and shimmy when it comes back straight. You've got to be careful. If you run the back end much harder than it is now, it's going to be flicking you off. It will snap back and it will fire you off, but through this final corner, that rear tyre was getting some abuse. But again, front end through, I mean, there's a little bit of a love tap. Sorry mate, my bad, he must have been right on the limit, and we've just kind of helped him out of the way. It is what it is. I didn't do it on purpose. I never run into the back of people on purpose. It was just a little bit of over enthusiasm. But again, I mean, look at this, sliding it about right behind the leader, and we're just mucking about trying to roast that rear tyre. And yeah, we just had a bit of fun with it. The replays for Kanto is actually quite good. I think I'll stick it. I think that's coming out this afternoon. I'll stick it this afternoon. But yeah, last lap, 138.4, 26th. But look at this slide. Go on then. Boogie rating, a boogie rating of 8.5. I would have given it a 9, but she's a bit snappy when she comes back into line, so I didn't give it a 9, I just gave it an 8.5. And there's the setup. There's the setup. Preload low, low, low. 1 and 5. Spring rates 8 and 4. It's a little bit weird again. It's not the same as the 08. It's similar. It's not the same. It is similar. Pros, great brakes and front end, absolutely fantastic front end, really good, as long as you're not sticking it into the corner in a V shape. You've got to run wide lines the same as the 08, alright? So if you like big wide lines, high corner speed, little tap on the brakes and tip it in, you'll like this bike. If you like point and squirt, which some people do, this bike will not work for you. And if you set it up to do that, it'll just wheelie everywhere and the anti-wheel will be kicking in, you won't get anywhere. Massive rear drive. It destroys soft and wet rear tyres. By all means, go somewhere like UMC or Kanto, whatever, have a bit of fun, slide it about. It will go sideways and it will hold it, and it is quite funny until you get to the next braking zone and you fall off. And ooh, she's growly. Ooh, yes sir. I do like the cross-plane engine. I do like the fact that it's got a little bit of it's V4 alike, isn't it? It's not the same as a V4. A V4 sounds a bit more fluty, whereas this thing's just pure gravel and gargle. I quite like it. Cons, she's loose at the back, sir. Yes, you may need some medication for that. but that's part of the fun, isn't it? And at the end of the day, it's all about fun. Snappy direction changes, yes, she does get a bit frisky, especially if you're sliding it about and you go back to straight, especially if she straightens up and you let the throttle off. You will be entering a low auth orbit for a small amount of time. And she's hard to set up, yes she is. I was lucky that I'd done the 08 and I kind of knew what I was trying to aim for, so be wary that you might have to do a lot of mucking about with it to get it to where you want it to be. It's not going to work for some people. Electronic settings, anti-wheelie 1, it will still lift the front on 1, be mindful of that. 2 for launchers, engine braking 2, and no traction, because we can't have a boogie with the traction because the traction spoils it. And that's it. I'll stick some more race videos out, some more race replays, and what we're doing next, I think we're on the 19 RSV4 Aprilia at Mugello, an endurance race at Mugello, so fingers crossed I'll see you for that. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking, comment, subscribing, you're all absolute legends, and like I said, fingers crossed I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, peace.